Mom and Diane got a gun. Why did the mom come screaming in the pharmacy? Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. This movie, Run. Also, thank you for the person who commented on my last A Teacher review and suggested this, because this movie wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even know what this movie was. Like, I love horror movies, I love thrillers, I love being scared, and I knew nothing about this. Also, the main actress, protagonist, Sarah Paulson, I know that people really love her. She's in a movie that's on, I think it's on Netflix, called Ratched. She's also in American Horror Story. Never watched either of those things, but I know people love her. Correct me if I said the wrong movies and TV shows, but yeah, people love her and say she's an amazing actress. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. But again, I like to watch movies without watching trailers, which kind of maybe might not make sense to people, because nowadays trailers spoil everything, and I just wanted to have like a blind mindset, know nothing. So I'm gonna dive into it. Also, this is not a spoiler-free review or just response. I'm gonna be saying everything that happens and my response to it as I'm watching it. So sorry if you don't want a spoiler, because this is what's gonna happen. So the movie just came out today, or I guess maybe midnight last night, not sure. So I literally wrote down the synopsis as it was happening and kind of what I was thinking when I was watching it. So immediately, literally immediately, the daughter is born, whisked away, and Sarah Paulson's character named Diane, she's in a wheelchair. So not in a wheelchair, but she's wheelchaired to the baby. Obviously the baby is having health problems immediately. Like, she's in this little clear thing at the hospital and she's crying and she's like, is she okay? She's gonna be okay. The scene cuts. After that, there's like a therapy kind of like group. That's what's going on. And I think they're kind of just going around passing tissues and stuff, kind of just like vent or talk about your feelings. And this is when Sarah Paulson, like, really, I guess Diane, sorry, kind of talks and like you get insight in like what's gonna happen. And they're like, oh, it's okay to not be okay. And she's like, I'm okay. And everyone's like, are you really okay? And she's like, yeah, my daughter is perfect. She's amazing. She's doing well. But I've also had to have no relationships, no life, no nothing. My whole life has been this daughter. So it's kind of like in my head, you're already kind of expressing the resentment you've had, that you've had to literally daughter or baby your child the entire life. And I think it also states that it was 17 years later. She's 17 years old, so she's about to go to college if it happens. So the next scene, Diane's at the house and it shows her and her daughter. Her daughter's name is Chloe. So it shows you all of her health issues. It shows that she has to take cream for her like skin condition. She has to take pills every day. She was throwing up. She's also paralyzed. She's in a wheelchair, so she's unable to move around without one. So obviously there's like a electric staircase for her to go down. Like, just, she has a lot of things going on, which kind of confirms that yes, she probably did have to put her life on hold for her daughter. She has to take an inhaler. She has to inject herself, which probably, it seemed like either high blood pressure or diabetes. I'm not really familiar with both medical conditions, but she does have to inject herself and check her blood pressure. And it's clear that she needs constant attention, which validates, again, like what I said, she needed to take care of her. When they were at the dinner table, or I guess dining table, Diane asked Chloe, she's like, when's the last time you watched a movie? And I know like there wasn't any significance of it then, but I don't know, there's just little things like, let me just take notes of stuff, so when stuff happens later, I'm like, okay. So she kind of mentions that, and then she says nothing. But also, Chloe's very fixated on college. Like I said, she's 17, she's probably like a senior, about applying to colleges, and she's like really antsy about finding out, did she get in? What college is she going to? So apparently she's already submitted out applications, and it's the University of Washington is where she's gonna go, or where she plans to go. And it shows her constantly reading, constantly studying, working on this like mechanical tech kind of project thing. Maybe it's like her own little side project, not so much for school, but it shows that she's always doing something. And then it also shows Diane constantly going down to the basement like regularly and like kind of watching stuff. It also is very obvious that this is the one place, or it seems like the one place, that Chloe cannot have access to, or does not have access to, because there's no actual like way for her wheelchair to go down. So it's just something I noted also, because she's kind of like watching something and crying. It seems like home films from back in the day, Diane. So I'm like, okay, so there's just them two. There's not really anyone outside of the house. It's just their relationship. The next thing that was like really like, oh, Chloe checks the mail regularly, which again, as a senior, if you have some schools that you really, really want to go to and you really want your acceptance letter, you are rushing to the front door, you're checking your mail, you're checking your email, stuff like that. But the gag is Chloe has no access to internet. Because I know she made a reference about, if only I had an iPhone, so I was like, okay, that for some reason I just mean she has no internet, she has no access to searching things. She runs downstairs, runs to the door, well, wheels to the door, rings the door open because she saw the US driver just drop off the mail. You heard the noise and everything. Tell me why when she opened the door, homegirl, I know I say this a lot, homegirl Diane is right there at the mail already. I don't think there's any hesitation of time. The thing that was kind of like iffy is that once that happened, the car door of Diane's was just wide open. So it just looks like she hastily like ran from the door there. So it's like, who are you running from? Who are you chasing? Who are you like, your daughter's in a wheelchair. I'm not saying that she thought she was going to reach it, but like the door is open. Like, why are we in that much of a rush? So it's kind of focused on that for a second. And she's like, okay. And I think while she's doing that and putting groceries away, Chloe wheels over to the dining table just to like check the groceries because she's putting the groceries away. When she was just kind of hastily doing it, I was like, she's going to find something she shouldn't. I knew this was going to happen. She opens the grocery bag. She takes some like candies and stuff, and she's like slowly still focused on it. So you know that there's probably gonna be something in there or on the table. She pulls out a medication bottle. It is prescribed to Diane, which is her mom. But she's been taking these pills, or I think she kind of just like, okay, like she has something going on. And she registers what the pills look like. They're green and white. And then that's when I think the next scene or just a little bit after that, Chloe's in bed. Diane gives her medicine because again, like she has to attend to her. And lo and behold, it was the green and white pill. Chloe baffled me. She's like, isn't this your medication? And Diane's like, what do you mean? And she's like, it was prescribed to you. Diane came up with a lie like, oh, well, that's the receipt. The receipt's on the medicine bottle. And she's like, okay. Because again, like obviously, I mean, anyone who knows what a pill bottle is like, there's no receipt in that way around it. So she's like, okay, and like takes it. Her mom's right there. What is she going to do to, argue against it? So when Chloe wakes up the next morning, Chloe goes to the bathroom and has her little contraption she's made, because I know how I told you she's like kind of working on projects and stuff. Yeah, so she does that and gets the medicine because it's kind of high up, and again, when she's in her wheelchair, it's really hard for her to reach things. So she uses her little tool. She gets the medicine. She opens the medicine, and that's when she sees that, yeah, it was prescribed to herself. Chloe, she's like, okay, I'm tripping. She takes it off, sees prescribed to Diane. So her mom falsified it to kind of like cover her tracks, I guess, which is kind of interesting because I don't know if she knew she'd find it later on. Like, I don't really know why she did that after it was already prescribed to herself and everything. And that's when shit hit the fan. I said, okay, mom's doing something. I don't know what's going on, but mom's doing something. And she doesn't trust her at all. She Chloe's lost all trust in her mom because she's just confused. She's coughed up the pills. If she's taken it, she's like probably hidden it under her throat or is good at throwing it up. I don't know, but she's coughed it up. So she's kind of starting to refuse to take the medication. And then after learning, also, by the way, when she gets the medication, she sees the name of it. The name says trigoxin. She wheels herself down at night when her mom's sleeping, right? So she goes downstairs, she goes to the computer and types in the password, gets on the internet, or so she thought. She types it in and she's like, trioxin, and it's like no internet connection. In the background, you see like a figure kind of like looking over. I said, the gig is up. So also because it does seem like Diane does spend a lot of time in the basement, which is below the stairs, and Chloe had to come down. She probably heard her. I don't know. So she probably turned off the internet when she heard her going down and got to the computer. So she's like, okay. The next scene, Diane's like having an argument on the phone, like a fake argument is what it seems like, because she's arguing on the phone like, no, it can't be done right now. I need it to be fixed like immediately, blah, blah, blah. I was like, and again, I don't know why. I thought I was like, is this a fake argument? Like, what's going on? And then Chloe's like, oh, is that about the Wi-Fi? And she's like, yeah, the internet's not working. And that's when she got herself caught in that lie. About, not even a lie, but like exposing herself. Because Diane's like, how you know about the internet? Because Chloe don't got no internet. She had no internet access, like I said in the beginning. So I was like, the little drops of like, oh, I don't have an iPhone. I don't know why. That just kind of resonated that she probably doesn't have internet or access to it. So she's like, how you know? And I think they kind of just like, there was nothing to say. She just said I went downstairs to search something about her project, and her mom believed it. because again, she can't really track it, but she's like, yeah, I was searching something for my school or my little project I'm working on. But then Chloe is trying to figure out what is up. Chloe's still trying to progressively figure out what is up. You remember how I said I'm screaming all the time? Yeah, so Chloe's mom, Diane, was outside in the garden. I was actually like, this is gonna go crazy. Chloe is trying to call anybody, or just call the pharmacy to figure out what is this medicine, because she doesn't have internet access, so what is the prescription of it? She's calling the pharmacy. The pharmacy's like, Diane, is that you? Has to hang up because she doesn't want to get traced back to her mom and her calling her. I think she called something else. It was like a hotline, like it just was not working. So it seemed like she just called a random number. This is the part where it's kind of great to me, but she calls a number, and as she's doing this, she's going back and forth from the window, trying to see her mom. Said, I am going to flip at this point. The mom's gonna walk up, grab the phone out of her hand, but no, successfully, she dials some guy randomly, having some girl problems, I don't know. And it's a random guy, and she's like, please, I'm not a telemarketer, please just answer. I just need you to tell me what this medicine is. And he searches it. I forgot what he said. He read out what the medicine treats, essentially. When she asked what trigoxin is, it says it treats heart conditions, and like it had the symptoms of what was listed at the beginning, because I forgot to mention this. At the very beginning, there was like 4 different things that were listed. I took a screenshot of that, and I was like, huh, this is gonna be important for later. And it's like, can you tell me what the medicine looks like? And he's like, it's red. Her medicine is white and green. So obviously she's not taking the trigoxin. The whole thing's falsified. So whatever he's telling her, it doesn't match up to what she's taking. So she's like, okay, my mom there's something's weird somewhere. Like, we need to figure out more into this. And finally, and you know how I said that loopholes come back again? You know how the mom made a comment about, Chloe, why don't we go to a movie? Now, Chloe asked Diane, she's like, why don't we go to the movies? I was like, you know what? I don't know how I knew, but I knew that was going to mean something. They go to the movies, they sit down, they're watching it, they got their concession snacks, all that stuff. And when they were parking, I could see pharmacy in the back. And I was like, homegirl's going to go over there. She's going to try and like I don't know how. I wasn't even sure how that was going to happen. They sit down, and she's like, can I go to the bathroom? And like shows her empty cups. She obviously drank all of it to like, I guess, show that she needed to go to the bathroom or something like that. As I knew, homegirl rolls across the street, goes to the pharmacy, cuts the line because she's in a wheelchair. I don't want to say it like that, but she kind of was like, made them feel bad for her. She's like, feel bad for me. And essentially it's a home pharmacist, because the lady knows who she was. She's like, Chloe, what are you doing here? And Chloe has to do a whole run around and saying, oh, it's my mom's medicine. No, it's my medicine. We're playing a game, this and this. I just need to know what this pill is, because you know how I said she stopped taking her pills? She's collected her pills and stopped taking them. So she gives her the pill. Turns out it's not prescribed to her or the mom. It's under the mom's name because it's the dog medicine. I also didn't know they had a dog. I don't remember seeing one, but so it's the dog's medicine. And she's like, dog medicine, considering that she's been taking it. She's like, yeah, it's her dog. She's like, what does it do? She's like, oh, it numbs them or like kind of sedates them. And then she's like tripping at this point. I think it was kind of like shaky. And she's like, well, so what? I mean, it was for a dog. Well, what would happen if a human takes it? And she's like, oh, it probably numbed their legs. Hence, she's paralyzed and she can't walk. Hence, she's just already having a lot of confusion about the mom. Why did the mom come screaming in the pharmacy? How did she know she was there? How? The mom's like, Chloe, where are you? Where are you? And then pushes past the people, tells the pharmacist, get something. She injects her daughter. This thing is crazy. This thing is crazy. I said, this is just, to me, I think it was just a really good movie. I was like, what is happening? I am shocked. I am captivated. I'm on the edge of my bed, like I'm watching it in here. I'm like, what in the world? The next scene, Diane's in the shower and she has like cuts or something on her back. I said, I don't know what that's from. I don't know what's going on. Is she abnormal? I don't know. Diane's on the phone with the pharmacy saying like, hey, can you call Chloe to like let her know it's a misunderstanding about the medicine? Can you like confirm? Basically like, I need to get my tracks covered because homegirl's getting on to me. She's learning stuff. She's getting on the internet. She's asking people stuff. She's going around like she's being nosy. Like she's figuring stuff out. And then like at that point, obviously the pharmacist seems like she's saying no because she's like, I think obviously it'd be responsible for the mom to do it to the daughter. She's like, I think she rejects it because obviously it doesn't happen. And then Diane searches household neurotoxins on the internet. I'm not sure what that is. I should have searched it, but I didn't want any spoilers. And then she locked Chloe in the bedroom. Chloe was trying to come out. She gets like, you know how girls use like bobby pins or something to unlock the door. There was a shovel locking the door from the outside. I said, okay, this is where we're at. The mom has really shown her like a shovel. It was this. Yeah, so somehow Chloe, smartass, decides to crawl out the window to the other window with her mouth like a water. And I had to rewind it because I was like, why is her cheeks like that? And she crawls out on like the roof, kind of parks, you know how houses have that area if it's a 2-story, 3-story house. She crawls through, kind of hits the glass and spits at it and it shatters. I don't even know how she knew how to do that. I was like, didn't know why her cheeks had stuff in it. And that's what like cracked the window. I said, this movie is just getting crazier and crazier by the second, every minute. There was not a dull moment, to me at least. So she gets through the room, and at that point, her breathing's going crazy. So she progressively slides through the top second floor, out of the mother's bedroom, takes the shovel off, doesn't even comment on it, goes into the bedroom, gets her inhaler, and cusses. And I'm like, yo, this is getting crazy. She kind of also is trying to go down the stairs because she's trying to break out. As she's going down, I'm not sure, I kind of like glimpsed away for a second. I don't know if the electricity went out or like her chair thing on the stairs wasn't working. I don't know if the mom like turned that off because, again, to prevent her from leaving. She had to throw her wheelchair down and throw herself off the stairs. Homegirl was planted down. I said, yikes. At that point, you're hurting yourself more, but you know she's trying to get down. And then I think in that moment, she kind of like moves her body around and realizes she can move her foot, which again shows that, maybe I'm not paralyzed. Maybe it's just something that like there's more to the story, obviously. Meanwhile, her mom was driving home with tools in the back. Like, you know, it was really good at like showing little things without saying something like out like audibly. It's like, oh, tools are in the back. Okay, what are those tools going to be for? So homegirl Chloe wheels out of the house. She wheels into like the forest because they're kind of like in a foresty kind of setting, and she crosses the USPS driver. Obviously, it's a regular driver all the time. I don't really know if that's how it works, but it's the same guy because the guy's like, Chloe, what are you doing? Because he knows her. Homegirl's always trying to run out the door looking for her mail. Diane's always there once the mail comes out. So obviously there's that bonded relationship. She throws herself essentially in front of the driver when he's driving. He has a screech and whatever, and she eventually confesses like what's going on or what she's like figured out. Diane comes behind and she sees her. That's when like Chloe freaks out and she's like to the driver, I don't know what the driver's name was, I'm sorry. She's like, what's wrong with Chloe? She bloodied, what's going on? He's like, she's told me everything. The USPS driver's like, she's told me everything. I can't let her go with you. I'm meant to take her to somewhere. Like, I just don't believe you. And then Diane kind of like manipulates him. And I thought she was going to convince him. She's like, I've known you for this many years. You know how many illnesses, how many doctors have to go. Like just basically trying to guilt trip him into eventually letting him give the daughter back. And he doesn't. I was happy. And then she eventually kind of really manipulated by being like, oh, well, I don't know how it's going to sit with the police when they know that a man found a young girl all bloodied and this and this. In the end, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to take her to the police. I knew it was going to go well. I was hoping somehow they could ride off into the sunset, but you know, this is a movie. Things don't go off that easy. At this point, the mailman is trying to put Chloe in the back of the truck next to his USPS driver. Diane comes with an injection, injects the man. I literally was like, I'm going to throw my laptop. I was actually watching the TV, but you know, I was like, fuck. And I think the scene cuts again. At this point, they're in the house. This is kind of like out of order, but as they're in the house, Diane is dragging the mailman's body, bloodied. So I'm like, all right, the man's gone. I thought he was just like not knocked out or passed out, you know, but I don't know, maybe he's dead at this point. Meanwhile, Chloe, I think she's in the basement, but she's like, because it doesn't look like it's everywhere she's been. She's downstairs somewhere. And I don't know why she was surrounded by all this mail that she's never been around. Because again, it seems like the basement is Diane's safe haven where she hides things. She, one, finds her acceptance letter to Washington, which is what I was saying, is that every time the mom was saying like, oh, I'll let you know. Why are you rushing to the mail? She's obviously hiding her mail from her. So she got accepted. Not only that, she found a death certificate in Chloe's name, meaning the real Chloe died in the hospital from that first scene. So you know what happened? Diane abducted another baby. There was a letter that said abducted, and it was like 2002. So like they said she's 17, so it's probably sent 2019, like last year. So she not only did her real daughter die, she stole a baby. Now this baby, she's put all these fake illnesses on. It reminds me of the Gypsy Rose Blankard story. I'm sorry if I butchered her last name, and I think it's on Hulu or HBO, but it's like the mother who had fake symptoms just to like, I don't really never understand the psychological reason for it, but that's also something that kind of happened with everything. She never had anything wrong with her. I know it's fictional, but still this obviously happens. So not only stole a child, but put all these fake things on her because obviously it was not real. That's what it seems. Her mom comes down the stairs and she confronts her. The mom is flipping out at this point. She's like, what's going on? She's like, no, I don't want to be anywhere near you. Like, you need to leave. Like, I don't want to touch you, stuff like that. The mom starts to boil paint thinner. Is that what it is? Yeah, like boil it. And she's like, no, don't do that. I was like, this is getting crazy. She boils it, puts it in a syringe, and then at that point, Chloe's smart and like backs herself into like the cupboard or I don't know, like another closet. She's in there and she's scrambling. I'm hearing pills and stuff. I don't know why I thought she was just gonna OD. I don't know what I thought was gonna go. No, it sounds grim. But she grabs something that says like, if ingested, call 911. I said, oh, this is where we're gonna go. And it's like very bold. Diane opens it. She's like, come on, sweetie, come here, Chloe. Chloe's like, you need me, and chugs it. And Diane tries to get like hydrogen peroxide to like save her. I'm like, homegirl. The girl is like foaming at the, or I don't know, it was like bloodying out. I don't know, like really bad. And she tries to save her. She has to take her to the hospital, which is the whole point of that, to get her away from her, you know. So Chloe wakes up in the hospital. She has something like a tube in her mouth. She's like not strapped down, but damn near strapped down. And Diane's talking to like the physician. The physician's like, we have to keep her here in like high risk. She tried to kill herself, so we had to watch her. She's gonna have to talk to like a mental doctor after, things like that. And like Diane's like freaking out because it's like, oh God, because again, her real daughter died. That's not her real name. Like just things like that. Things are adding up. And as Chloe's in the room, I think she wakes up or just jumps to Chloe, and she's trying to talk to the doctor that's watching her. And like, she doesn't talk to her. She's like, gets her with the thing. Sorry, I'm like not really familiar with the term, but she like buzzes her over and it's like, can I write something down? Like that's kind of how she signals it. She doesn't say it because she can't talk, but kind of signals to it. She's like, oh yeah, you can write something. And she writes with a crayon because she couldn't write with a pen because suicide watch. And she writes something down. As soon as she's done writing, or as she's writing, a cold blue happens coincidentally. So someone I think dies, like a very high risk patient. I don't know, because the whole hospital was reacting to it. I said, homegirl is alone. Homegirl is alone. And then her vitals went like flat, so I thought she died. But turns out Mama Diane pops in and she unplugs her and everything like that, and wheels her out. It's kind of hard to tell when it's obvious that someone's being abducted or like not supposed to be leaving, but she literally unplugged her and wheels her out. No one notices. No one notices like what's going on, in the sense that like she's abducting her or taking her out. I was like, this movie can't go on like this. Like we need to get somewhere. And I see a couple turn around. I thought they were going to notice somehow, but not like they know who they are, so why would they know? And eventually the doctor who was watching her and gave her the crayon, she sees the paper and it says mom. And she like calls and like, hey, where's my patient? Blah, blah, blah. Did you eject her or discharge her? And they're like, no. And then she sees the paper says mom, and it's meaning, oh, the mom's on something. So then they get the security, they get her wherever the exit's going to be. Like they have this, like the hospital kind of blocked off, or like that exit. Mama Diane got a gun. I said, what? This is not going to end well. I don't know why I thought she was going to kill the daughter herself or something. And she has the gun with her. She gets to the end, and there's an escalator. And at that point, she's screwed because she has the wheelchair, and the escalators were turned off. She kind of, I think, is thinking about like what to do. And eventually, Diane tries to like turn around because she sees directions. And that's when she sees Chloe's foot's down. And like, again, we're thinking she's paralyzed or she is, whatever. And Chloe, in a very strained way, because like, you know, she just essentially OD'd, is like, I don't need you. And that's when the cops are like, yo girl, you need to put your gun down, because they could see Diane's gun. Diane looked like she was about to start screaming, is what seemed was going to happen. And she was like, no, she's mine. And then they shoot her right in her arm. It almost looked like one of those really bad movies where like she was going to be able to shoot again, but because she was standing for a while, it's like she didn't even falter. Like, what's going on? She falls down the escalators, and also she falls. For some reason, I guess what made it seem like Chloe got her strength is that there was like a banner that said University of Washington, and that's when she finally like put her foot down and like spoke again. That was where she wants to go. That's where her mom deprived her of going, almost, stuff like that. And when that's when the strength happened and all that whole police altercation happened. Diane falls down. I don't know how long it moved forward, but obviously Chloe's grown because she has a big ass rock engagement or wedding ring on her finger, and she's going to like a women's correctional facility. I was like, huh, okay. She goes in and she kind of like makes like a big emphasis, or at least the movie does, like she can walk kind of. She like pulls her cane out, pulls it down. She can like kind of walk. She's slowly regaining strength in her legs. So obviously, like, yeah, she's probably gonna be able to walk now. But obviously all those dog pills really made a big impact on her because it's still like straining for that. This is years later. She goes in the correctional facility and you see Diane in a bed looking crazy. She looks dead essentially. And she's talking to her and she's like, yeah, this girl is this and this. This like basically it seems like she's naming off her kids. And then maybe she went back to her real parents and maybe like she said the grandkids or grandparents, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, like enough time has passed. And the part that tripped me, besides what she looked like, Chloe and her throwing up stuff or whatever she does, she takes out 3 pills and she's like, all right, Diane, time for your medicine. I said, this movie's over. So y'all, that was a movie. I was blown, super, super happy to watch it. 10 out of 10, amazing, captivated, it was just like, wow. Wow. So to that comment, thank you so, so much. I want more of those from people from like newer movies, like suggest things to me because I'm really not aware of what's coming out in the future. I just kind of watch the same old, same old. So please suggest more upcoming things and I would love to try and review them. I would never watch this if it wasn't for that. Yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed my very much spoiler review. Let me know what you think of the movie and what I said. Like and subscribe so I know I'm doing well, and see y'all guys in the next video. Bye!